The omohyoid, spelled omohyoid, just like that, O-M-O, and then our hyoid. This is going to be a muscle that originates kind of deep where the scapula is. So we're going to look at that actually with just the skeleton on. And then it's inserting in the inferior border of the hyoid bone. Of course, its function is to be pulling the hyoid bone down. Okay, and what's really peculiar about its form is that it's going to kind of make a bit of a plane change in the middle. So it's going to do this, and it's almost like it's being wrapped with this little ligament right in the center. So you got to keep this in mind, this separation in form. So let's take a look at this without the muscles in there. So let's just say, look at the throat, look at the skeleton. Okay. And now the origin of it, again, is going to be medial, or it's going to be on the inside of this notch. So it's on the inside of that, and then it's going to be inserting into the hyoid from below. So the best tool for this is likely, again, to just be clay tubes. And in our case, or curved tubes, I should say. Curved tube, lower your draw size, okay, click, drag, and then up. Alright, now in my case it went a little bit wacky, but we'll get it. Click that end point, pull it forward so I at least know where I went wrong, and again click the end point so it's not actually doing any curve adjustment. There we go. Alright, and so let's map out a few things so you know exactly kind of what we're doing. We're putting it off to the side of the hyoid. So let's just map this. My hyoid bone right here. That's our little hyoid. Let's give it some three-dimensional qualities. Okay. There's going to be another muscle that's really important, the sternohyoid, and that's going to be really coming from each side, right off the center line. Okay. Then to the outside, or lateral to the sternohyoid, that's where the omohyoid is going to come from. So we want to make sure that we leave room for the sternohyoid in there as we're doing this. So with that done and set, we got a little bit more room about there. And I decreased the size of it. Okay, now I want to make sure that it's connecting along the right area. Oops. Make sure you use the right side when you adjust this curve. Lower the draw size. There we go. Okay, so along the hyoid it's okay. Along the sternum it's okay. Do we need to adjust it to flow along the throat a little bit better? The gland or the cartilage? Whoops. Maybe. We can do a good bit of that with the move brush. But my first thought is actually that the throat itself is going to need to be adjusted. Okay, and it's not really the omohyoid that's going to need it. Although I am going to pull it off the throat just a tiny bit. Let's go in there and grab that edge. Whoa. Lowering that draw size. Yep. Yes. Okay. But now let's invert the mask. Invert is control click. And I'm going to get rid of this Adam's apple a little bit. Let's turn transparency off so I see this a little better. But I am going to shape it a touch towards the front. Okay, the polygroups are still there. Let's Let's kill the curve. Delete that curve. I don't really want to deal with that curve anymore. And Damien's standard brush, and I want to really separate that hyoid. Okay. Okay, invert that. Now we can actually even make this sit a little closer. Okay, now let's see it with all the rest. And that looks okay. Now in terms of the shape of this, we're going to increase the size a little bit, but I only need solo mode on for that. And then here as well. Very simple. Don't get caught up with too much. Okay, control, click and drag, control, click and drag, and we've got all of our parts kind of in play there. Alright, we got a little bit more to do. As I mentioned, the sternohyoid is going to be that second muscle in the throat that we really want to put into place. And the sternohyoid is really a straightforward muscle. So we're going to go in with curved tubes, and we're really going to go straight from the hyoid to the sternum. It's really the sternum and the clavicle, but it's going to come right down to the sternum. So let's just go hyoid and straight down. Lower the draw size. Okay, you don't need as line on, but you know, as long as you select that end point, we're going to be in reasonably okay shape. Alright, and we're going on the inside. So you got to make sure end point is selected, and you're going on the inside of that and deep. Okay, let's make sure it's connecting. Alright, now this is one of those muscles that's going to be broad and thin. So I have a decision to make. How am I going to get the thickness of it? And my thought is, let's increase the draw size slightly. Something like that. Yeah, that'll create a nice broad sheet. Okay, and then I'm going to turn polyframe off, solo mode on, and in fact we can just isolate just this group and try H polish and see if H polish will just start to give me some sort of flat plane to work with. Try to make long strokes if possible, but it might be a little bit hard because it can get aggressive. Alright, that actually works. So now from the back side, same trick. So my stroke's a little bit on the sketchy side, and my priority is to find flat planes. I'm lowering my draw size because it seems to be confusing itself as it kind of samples some of the other side into it. Okay. Oops. Yeah, it's not as successful in the back. There you go. Okay. Something like that. Could probably make that thinner. Could we get away using transpose? Let's see. Yeah, looks fine. Okay. Just masking out that portion. Okay, let's just delete a curve. So I'm going to go into curve mode temporarily, delete, and back out. Can I just find that a little bit better? Okay. Alright, so leave it roughly like that. Now, I can't have an Adam's apple, so I need to smooth that out a little bit. But I do want to still continue to leave a little bit of a bump and not just get rid of, you know, the shapes that are happening in there. Okay, so that'll be most of the throat muscles that we need. Now we get to go in and look at a couple of other really cool muscles that are still kind of interior, but these ones are going to be more focused along the back of the back of the neck.